Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful convocation ceremony. Graduates, families, and friends of graduates, welcome to this Iowa State University College of Agriculture and Life Sciences Fall 2024 Convocation, and thank you all for coming today to celebrate our newest graduates. Here's to the graduates. My name is Dan Robeson, and I have the distinct honor and privilege of being Dean of your College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. I'd like to take a moment to introduce our Associate and Assistant Deans and other key members of our college administrative team, those who are in the front row of the platform. Others will be introduced afterwards. Please stand. Well, you are standing. Please take a step forward as I introduce you. Dr. Carmen Bain, Associate Dean for Academic Innovation. Dr. Mike Ritalik, Chair of the Department of Agricultural Studies and Education. Dr. Kendall Lamke, Associate Dean, Facilities and Operations. Dr. Steve Michelson, our special speaker today and Special Advisor to the Senior Vice President and Provost. Dr. Tom Brum, Professor of Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering. Dr. Mary Wiedenhoft, Department Chair for the Department of Agronomy. Dr. Howard Tyler, Assistant Dean, Student Services and Success, and Mr. Mike Gall, Director of Career Services. Thank you. Everybody, please be seated. Thank you again for being here to celebrate and honor the accomplishments of this extraordinary group of students. Looking at your faces, I can see on this happy day that we are all proud and pleased. The breadth and depth of your accumulated knowledge and the experiences you have gained here at Iowa State are truly remarkable, and we congratulate you. Standing here with you today, I think about the fact that the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences welcomes students such as yourselves from every walk of life, from every part of Iowa, from across the Midwest, the nation, and countries around the world. We are proud of that. We've been doing this for 166 years, since 1858, and 166 years from now, people will be here doing the same thing. Imagine that. We are all part of a long, continuing line of cyclones devoted to the purposes and priorities of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. Most simply, those are to serve and to make the world a better place. We aspire here to be the most welcoming agriculture and life sciences college in the nation, a place where your sense of belonging matters every bit as much as your achievements in the classroom. This college is a family, and I hope you can feel that. As a new student, you came here into this family of the College of Ag and Life Sciences ready to take on the world. As members of this CALS family, we worked every day to encourage, support, enable, and inspire you as very best we could. That was our goal, indeed our purpose, and we have been thrilled to watch you all grow. In fact, the Iowa State community in front of me right now has been recognized in many ways for its excellence. Some of you students are graduating with academic distinction. With a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 or higher, those students wearing Cardinal Honor Cords are graduating cum laude with distinction. Students graduating magna cum laude with great distinction are wearing Gold Honor Cords. And those wearing Cardinal and Gold Honor Cords are graduating with highest distinction, summa cum laude. With those of you wearing such cords, please stand and be recognized for your academic achievements. Please. Thank you. In his 1964 Nobel Peace Prize acceptance speech, Dr. Martin Luther King said the following, quote, "I have the audacity to believe that peoples everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education and culture for their minds, and dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirits. That is what we aim for in CALS and at Iowa State University, to live towards that challenge of audacity and courage from the fertile soils of Iowa to the furthest reaches of the globe. To build on what we already know is intriguing and stimulating, to stand on the shoulders of those who have come before us, to see beyond the horizon is inspiring. This is what we do. Cal's graduates, you're here today because you believed that this was where you needed to be to start to make a difference in the world. Now your journey is at a point where society looks to you for innovation and for answers, and places its hopes in the future in your abilities, talents, and skills. You have work to do. Some of you will travel to the four corners of the earth. Some will stay closer to home. Some will work independently, some in partnerships. Whatever you do, wherever you go, don't forget your experiences here at Iowa State and those advisors, instructors, friends, and fellow students who helped to shape who you are today. Today, we not only want to celebrate your accomplishments, but I'd also like to take a moment to recognize those who have helped us and helped you to come to this point. Freedom, as we know, is not free, and we want to celebrate and thank those who are, or have been, or will be, serving in the armed services or any uniformed service, protecting our freedoms. With those of you who were, are, or will be in uniformed service, please stand to be recognized. And now, the friends and families of our graduates, all of you, please rise. Yeah, all of you, there you go. And now our graduates, please rise and thank your friends and families. Great, thank you. To conclude, I say to you graduates, believe in yourself. You worked hard and you sacrificed. You did your best and you have earned the right to walk across the stage today. Please help support the next generations of young people who come this way. Keep in touch. Tell us your stories, your whereabouts, and your successes. Congratulations to you all. Now, I am excited to introduce this semester's special guest speaker, Dr. Steve Michelson. Steve, would you come forward? Dr. Michelson is currently a special advisor to the Senior Vice President and Provost, co-leading the rollout of Workday Student. Previously, he served as chair of the highly ranked, top-ranked, Department of Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering for 10 years. Dr. Michelson's research focused on evaluation of agricultural best management practices on water quality. He has taught in the areas of engineering design, computer graphics, or soil and water conservation engineering. His 3 degrees, all from here in agricultural engineering, are in this college. He is also the Chuck and Jane Olson Professor of Engineering. Please help me welcome Dr. Michelson.
Well, good morning. And before I start my comments, I had asked my wife what I should talk about, because I'm just a farm kid from Rembrandt, Iowa. I went to the smallest school in the state of Iowa, and so I was a little nervous about giving the talk today. So I said, what do you think I should talk about? And my wife, Colette, said, you should talk about 2 minutes. So here we go. I'm going to go a little longer than 2 minutes. But so graduating class of 2024, faculty, staff, families, and friends, today marks a monumental achievement for each of you, celebrating your hard work, dedication, and the pursuit of knowledge, skills, and abilities in your chosen field of study. As you stand on the threshold of a new chapter of life, a new adventure, as we say here at Iowa State, you are reminded of what you've learned and the experiences that you've had that have shaped your journey. As graduates of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, you have spent years learning how to feed, fuel, and heal the world, how to balance science with compassion and innovation with sustainability. You studied everything from soil health and crop production to animal science, food systems, machine systems, workplace safety, and environmental conservation. But what differentiates you from other graduates is the unique strengths within each of you. Strengths that go beyond your academic achievements and technical skills that you've mastered. Today I want to talk about these strengths. First is the strength of resilience. In agriculture and life sciences, nothing is predictable. The weather changes, markets fluctuate, research can take unexpected turns. Yet through all of this, you've learned the power of resilience. You faced long nights in the lab, right? Grueling hours in the field, challenging team projects, I know that's true, and difficult quizzes and exams. But each time you found a way to keep going. You've learned that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities to build something more substantial, enduring, and creative. You're leaving here today with a deeper understanding that resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about learning, growing, and adapting as you move forward. Next is the strength of curiosity. In your studies, you were constantly encouraged to ask questions, not just what or how, but why. And through your curiosity, you have uncovered truths, solved problems, and pushed the boundaries of what is known. The world we live in, especially in the areas of agriculture and life sciences, is constantly changing, whether it's the development of sustainable farming practices, a quest for new cures, or finding innovative solutions for food insecurity. The challenges ahead require that you maintain that sense of wonder and inquiry. Your curiosity will continue to drive progress, so never stop asking questions, seeking answers, even when you don't have all the information. Next, let's talk about the strength of collaboration. You've been part of a vibrant community here at Iowa State, working alongside peers from diverse backgrounds, each bringing their unique perspectives and expertise. You've learned that your ideas are made stronger when you share with others. Collaboration is the cornerstone of innovation, and as you move forward, whether in research teams, industry, or rural communities, remember that no one achieves greatness alone. We all know that working in teams can be very difficult, right? But your ability to work with others, listen, compromise, and lead when needed will be one of the most potent tools that you'll take into the world. Then there's the strength of integrity. At Iowa State, you've learned that life is not just about what you can accomplish, but how you accomplish it. Integrity is at the heart of your work, from ensuring ethical practices and research to making decisions that protect the environment and communities. The strength of integrity is your ability to hold yourself to the highest standards, to make choices that reflect your values, and to lead with honesty and transparency. In a world where shortcuts and quick fixes can sometimes seem tempting, your integrity will set you apart and guide you towards making decisions that positively impact the world. Finally, I want to talk about the strength of purpose. Over the years, you discovered your passion, your drive, and your commitment to the world of agriculture and life sciences. Whether you desire to improve food security, protect natural resources, evaluate manufacturing systems, or advance human health, you have a sense of purpose that will guide you every step. Purpose provides the motivation to keep going when the road gets tough, inspire those around you, and create change on a meaningful and lasting scale. Your work is about achieving personal success and making the world better for future generations. As you leave Iowa State, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. The knowledge, skills, and abilities you've gained are essential. Still, your personal strengths, resilience, curiosity, collaboration, integrity, and purpose will shape your future and the world's future. You've earned this today, but your journey does not end here. It continues with every decision that you make, every challenge you face, and every opportunity to grow. So as you walk out of this ceremony today, remember this: the world needs your strengths. It requires your innovation, your leadership, your vision. And with these strengths, you will not only succeed, but truly make an impact that is lasting. Congratulations, class of 2024. The world is waiting for you. I know it went over my 2 minutes, but I want to thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you again, Dr. Michelson, for those truly inspiring awards. It is my pleasure now to introduce our student speaker, Christopher Meyer. Christopher, would you please come forward? Christopher is graduating today with degrees in agronomy and agricultural business, along with an MBA. He started his journey at ISU while still in high school, where he became involved in the World Food Prize Global Youth Institute and attended the annual Iowa Youth Institutes on the Iowa State campus. Those visits, along with both his parents being Iowa State alums, sealed the deal for him to enroll in the agronomy program. To gain a more global perspective on agriculture, Christopher traveled to Ghana on a study abroad trip. He and other students met with farmers and launched 3 4-H chapters and learned about their cultural differences. Christopher took what was learning in his classes and applied it to multiple internships with Bear Crop Science Corporation, where he will return this fall after graduation as a field sales representative in Pennsylvania. Please welcome your classmate, Christopher Meyer.
Thank you, Dean Robeson, for that kind introduction. To Iowa State University and the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, thank you for this opportunity. I'm honored and humbled to be here today with all of you. I also want to thank my girlfriend, my friends, my family, and all of those who have helped shape my college career. I'm incredibly grateful for the love, support, advice, and meaningful impact that each of you have had on me. One of the first major life decisions that we have all made was if or where we wanted to go to college. We might have gone on campus tours, done extensive research, or maybe you knew all along that Iowa State was home. But regardless of how or why you made your decision, we all took a leap of faith to be here today and accepted that coming to Iowa State would change our lives. With every choice we make, there is uncertainty. And with that uncertainty is where we grow. We might not know what the effects of our decision might be. At Iowa State, these decisions have a lasting impact. For me, getting involved in farmhouse fraternity and student government helped shape my college experience. And all of us have faced decisions like, what should my major be? What dorm should I call home? Is ordering pizza for the 3rd night in a row a good idea? Some of these decisions change our lives more than others. But no matter how big or small, these decisions still change our lives more than we might realize. If there's one constant in life, it's change. Change can bring growth, or it can bring challenges. Oftentimes, the difference lies in how we choose to embrace it. For each of us, accepting change looks different. Sometimes change is unavoidable, and at other times, it's a choice to step into something new. But no matter how it arrives, how we respond can define the path ahead. One of my biggest and perhaps most challenging decisions was joining the concurrent MBA program. Last fall, I began classes alongside my MBA cohort, focusing on management, problem solving, and thinking strategically. Iowa State's MBA program exposed me to diverse perspectives, people, and approaches. Adding these MBA courses on top of my agronomy and ag business classes for my senior year was a big change. The workload was intense, and there were moments that pushed me to my limits. But what made this experience so impactful is how I connected back to my roots in agriculture. Looking back, I'm so happy that I made this change. Another impactful experience was a study abroad opportunity to go to Ghana. Traveling to West Africa with a group of Iowa State students is something that we will never forget. We immersed ourselves in new experiences, from exploring cocoa farms to meeting people whose lives are totally different from ours. It was an experience that forever changed how we see the world. So think back to some of the changes that you have experienced in your past. How have these changes impacted you? And now think about what changes lie ahead of you currently. For most of us, we will be starting a full-time job soon. We might be moving across the country, going to grad school, or moving back to our family farm. We will be changing our study habits into work habits. We will be changing our lives in a big way. So as we step into these changes, I challenge all of us. How will we embrace them? Fellow classmates, congratulations. We are graduating from Iowa State University. We have put years of hard work and dedication to get here today. We did it. So let's enjoy this day together, celebrating not only what we've achieved, but the changes that lie ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Well done. Very thoughtful remarks. We are fortunate that all of our seniors are outstanding and represent our college in many, many ways. At this time, I invite Madeline Clemmy, President of the College of Ag and Life Sciences Student Council, and Vice President Alexandra Hoffman, to introduce this year's award winners.
Thank you, Dean Robeson. Both Alex and I are honored to be here today. Every fall and spring, the Cal's Student Council recognizes graduating seniors who have gone above and beyond while attending Iowa State University. Through these awards, we are pleased to bring attention to their hard work and dedication. Our first award is the Academic Achievement Award. This award is presented to a senior with an outstanding academic record through grades, scholarships, and honors received while at ISU. This semester's awardee is Jillian Anderson, graduating with majors in agricultural and rural policy studies and international agriculture. While at Iowa State, Jillian's commitment to her studies has landed her on the dean's list. She's been the recipient of several scholarships and received the American FFA degree in 2024. In addition to her many academic achievements, she has also furthered her studies working internationally through study abroad programs in Italy, Nepal, and Uganda. These international experiences gave her context and understanding of how global agriculture worked, which helped amplify what she learned in the classroom. Jillian also worked in the lab of David Peters, professor of agricultural and rural policy studies, studying public perception of gene-edited foods. Though she isn't sure exactly what her future holds, Jillian is interested in working in the international agricultural development field. Please join me in congratulating Jillian on receiving this award. The Distinguished Service Award recognizes a senior who has dedicated their time to better their community through service activities and organizations, both on and off campus. This year's recipient is Samantha Notaboom, graduating with majors in agricultural business and animal science. As a transfer student, Samantha quickly got involved in campus life. She has been active in Cal's Ambassadors, participated in intramural volleyball and basketball, and worked in laboratories on and off campus. In addition, she has helped coach a high school softball team and worked weekends at a cattle farm. In the midst of it all, she has excelled academically. After graduation, Samantha is keeping her future plans open while she decides what path to take that will help impact livestock and the industry. Congratulations, Samantha, on receiving this award. The Outstanding Ambassador of Agriculture and Life Sciences Award is presented to a senior who has served as a liaison between Iowa State, the college, and communities while representing and educating students about issues pertinent to their student experience. This year, we are recognizing two outstanding candidates. Our first awardee is Haley Ross Miller, graduating with a major in agricultural communication and international agriculture and minor in animal science. As an incoming freshman, Haley made a goal to say yes and step outside her comfort zone to experience new opportunities. This led her to active membership in numerous organizations, including Sigma Alpha, Agriculture Communicators of Tomorrow Club, National Agri-Marketing Association, Cows Council, and the Cows Ambassador Program. Alongside campus involvement, Haley participated in the National Student Exchange Program at University College Dublin in Ireland, where she studied agricultural sciences. In each role, Haley has connected students on and off campus to Iowa agriculture and has been a true advocate for the college and industry. All these experiences have prepared her to start her new position as a companion animal territory manager with Merck Animal Health. Please join me in congratulating Haley on this award. The second Outstanding Ambassador of Agriculture and Life Sciences Award goes to Leah Shippers, graduating with a major in forestry. During her time at Iowa State, Leah has taken advantage of opportunities to immerse herself in the field of forestry and share her passion with others. In addition to her classwork, Leah worked as a member of AmeriCorps for Practical Farmers of Iowa, helping with field days and honing her ability to communicate with landowners and agronomists through writing articles and blog posts. In addition, Leah was also involved with the Stripes Project, serving as a Region Ag Assistant to aid with the project's grant organization, deliverables, and event planning. Leah has gone out of her way to help students struggling with class content and always does so with a smile on her face. Following graduation, Leah has accepted a position as a Farm Bill biologist with Pheasants Forever. Congratulations, Leah, for receiving this award. The Leadership and Innovation Award recognizes seniors who have demonstrated innovation and creativity in leadership roles on campus. This year's recipient is Jackie Miller, graduating with a major in agricultural communication. Jackie engaged in several innovative and creative paths throughout her time at Iowa State. She participated in the Next Gen Innovation Impact Study internship, researching innovative agricultural products while learning to market the innovations to various target audiences. Jackie has been involved with the National Agri-Marketing Association, through which she developed and presented a biosecurity solution at the 2023 National NAMA Conference and competed in the 2024 NAMA Individual Sales Competition. Jackie took the marketing skills she gained in NAMA and applied those to internships at Iowa Select Farms, Vermeer Corporation, and Elanco Animal Health. She will join Elanco full-time after graduation as a U.S. farm animal retail sales representative. Congratulations, Jackie, on receiving this award. The Outstanding Senior Award recognizes a senior who has shown exceptional effort in leadership, service, and academic achievement. This year's recipient is Elizabeth Severson, graduating with majors in agronomy and horticulture. Elizabeth's dedication to her academics, service, and leadership has led to great success at Iowa State. Beginning her sophomore year, she joined the soils judging team, and highlights of her involvement included first place individual, team captain, and team judging awards. She also helped organize the American Soil Academy, Soil Science Society of America National Soil Judging Contest hosted in Ames last spring. Outside the classroom, Elizabeth has been a member of the ISU Swim Club, qualifying for nationals, and has learned to play the carillon inside the Campanile Bell Tower on Central Campus. With a dream of becoming a soil scientist, Elizabeth will enroll in Iowa State Soil Science graduate program this spring. Please join me in congratulating Elizabeth. On behalf of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences undergraduate students, congratulations to each of this year's award recipients and all graduates. Each of you has positively contributed to Iowa State's exceptional reputation and inspired those who will walk in your footsteps to become better leaders, academics, and compassionate members of their communities.
Thank you, Maddie and Alex, and congratulations again to our award winners. Now we get to the walk. I invite Mike Gall to present this year's graduates. I encourage family and friends to celebrate, loudly if you want, as your person and others cross the stage. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Our first department is the Department of Agricultural and Biosystems Engineering with majors in Agricultural Systems Technology and Industrial Technology. Presenting the graduates is Dr. Gretchen Mosier, and offering congratulations is Dr. Tom Brum. Tanner Edwards. Tanner's future plans are working for Premier Crop Systems out of eastern Iowa. Dawson Chenoweth. Dawson's future plans are returning to the family farm and working as a precision agronomy specialist for Prairie Land FS. Max Riley. Max will be pursuing a job at Reuters Red Power in Grand Junction, Iowa as a precision specialist. Tapani Branstead. Tapani's future plans are to move to Helsinki, Finland, to be with his girlfriend and pursue a career in the agriculture or manufacturing industry as an engineer. Evan Mark. Evan's future plans are to start his career at New Cooperative and welcome twins into the family this winter. Andrew Wonker. While at Iowa State, Andrew was involved and competed with the Run Club. Barrick Summerlot. While at ISU, Barrick was involved in the Hickson program, the Knitting Club, the Math Club, the Industrial Technology Club, and served as an Engineering Student Council representative. Abigail Belcher. Abigail's future plans are to begin her career as a process engineer at Atlas Roofing in Clinton, Iowa. Carter Knutson. While at Iowa State, Carter was involved as a TA for Chad and Troy and would like to thank them, along with other great professors, her friends, family, and fiance, for their support. Our next major is Agricultural and Life Sciences Education. Graduates from this department who have completed their teacher preparation plan through the Agricultural Education program will be wearing light blue honor cords. The cords represents the teaching profession and celebrates their induction into the teaching profession. Presenting the graduates is Dr. Scott Smalley, and offering congratulations is Dr. Michael Ritalik. Kylie Zorin. Kylie's future plans are to become an agriculture teacher and FFA advisor at Marquette Academy in Ottawa, Illinois. Erin Hemphill. While at Iowa State, Erin was involved in the Block and Bridle Club, the Agriculture Communicators of Tomorrow Club, and was a College of Agriculture and Life Sciences ambassador. The next department is the Department of Agriculture Education and Studies, offering majors in agricultural communications, agriculture and life science education, and agricultural studies. Presenting the graduates in agricultural communications is Dr. Chuan Q, and offering congratulations is Dr. Michael Ritalik. Jackie Miller. Jackie's future plans are to begin a role with Elanco Animal Health as a farm animal retail sales employee based out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Haley Ross Miller. Haley's future plans are to return to her hometown of Eldridge, Iowa, and work as a companion animal territory representative with Merck Animal Health in Northeast Iowa. Quentin Slater. Quentin's future plans are to move to Washington, D.C. to work for the American Farm Bureau Federation as the communications assistant. Lindsay Galbraith. While at Iowa State, Lindsay was involved in the Block and Bridle Club, the Swine Interest Group, tri-chair of the Legacy Pig Show, and the Agriculture Communicators of Tomorrow Club. Presenting the graduates in agricultural studies is Dr. Skylar Rinker, and offering congratulations, Dr. Michael Ritalik. Jonathan Teeslaw. Jonathan's future plans are to farm along with his family in northwest Iowa. Bryce Greiner. Bryce's future plans are to continue to build his knowledge in the agricultural sales and finance fields. Matthew McGarry. Matthew's future plans are to provide safe, healthy, and delicious food for the world to enjoy. Marshall Parrott. Marshall's future plans are to continue growing his family's farm and working for Nutrient Ag Solutions. Morgan Baker. While at ISU, Morgan was involved with the Salt Company College Ministry, intramural volleyball and basketball, and the Farm Operations Club. Ava Daufeld. Ava's future plans are to work at Kent Corporation in Muscatine, Iowa as an e-commerce specialist. Joshua Nofsker. Joshua's future plans are to begin farming west of Ames. Vivian Leonard. Vivian's future plans are to work in the Ames area at Vision Bank as a commercial lender. Abigail Simpson. Abigail's future plans are to return home to Central Illinois and continue working for the local John Deere dealer as a precision agricultural field specialist working with agriculture equipment technology. Joanna Sowers. Joanna's future plans are to work as a research technician at VRI Swine Research. Lincoln Yoder. Lincoln's future plans are to return to Southeast Iowa and serve agriculture through land improvement contracting. Gunder Howe. Gunder would like to thank his wife Nicole and his mother for their support. Our next department is the Department of Agronomy, offering a major in agronomy. Presenting the graduates, Dr. Brian Hornbuckle, and offering congratulations is Dr. Mary Wiedenhoft. Christopher Meyer. Christopher's future plans include moving to Lancaster, Pennsylvania to work for Bayer Crop Science as a field sales representative trainee. Elizabeth Severson. While at Iowa State, Elizabeth was involved with the Baja SAE, the swim club, and soil judging team. Alex Cecil. Alex's future plans are to continue on to a master's program at Iowa State. Gavin Anderson. While at ISU, Gavin was involved with the Soil and Water Conservation Club, the soil judging team, St. Thomas Aquinas Student Leadership, and served as a supervisor at the Ames Romero House. Emma Kaspers. Emma would like to thank her mother, Rebecca, and stepdad, Tony, and siblings for everything they have done for her, and to her father, who is looking down from heaven today. Mary Hendon. Mary would like to thank Dr. Amber Anderson for all her support as her academic advisor. Andrew Hokinson. Andrew would like to thank his family, the McNair Scholars Program staff, his research advisor, Dr. Maria Salas, and his academic advisor, Dr. Mary Wiedenhoff, for supporting him. Allison Smith. Allison's future plans are working as a research associate at Corteva AgriScience. Aaron Ryan. Aaron's future plans are to work for Eocene Environmental Group as an agricultural data specialist and continue to help on the family farm. Our next department is the Department of Animal Science with majors in Animal Science and Dairy Science. Presenting the graduates is Dr. Jennifer Bundy, and offering congratulations is Dr. Jody Sturley. Kenna Meisgeier. Kenna's future plans are to continue working with the ISU Dairy and making her way back to Northeast Iowa to work in the dairy industry. Presenting the graduates for our animal science major is Dr. Jennifer Bundy, and offering congratulations is Dr. Jody Sturley. Samantha Notaboom. Samantha's future plans are to work for Producers Co-op as an agronomist. Alexandria Washington. While at ISU, Alexandria was involved as a microbiology lab assistant, an animal science peer mentor, and an executive member of the Dairy Cooperative Year program. Danny Rayford. Danny's future plans are to attend the University of Wisconsin-Madison for their master's program with a focus in dairy cattle nutrition. Hannah Bunt. Hannah's future plans are to find a rural vet clinic that will allow her to use the skills and knowledge she has learned at Iowa State. Kendra Huseman. Kendra's future plans are to work at MG Biologics, located here in Ames, working in their herd health department. Catherine Marie Cubbage. Catherine's future plans are to attend graduate school and veterinary school. Jacob Gottschalk. While at ISU, Jacob was involved with the Political Science Club and the ISU Legislative Ambassadors. Megan Byert. While at ISU, Megan was involved with the Iowa State Marching Band and basketball pep bands, Tri Beta Biological Honor Society, Alpha Zeta Professional Fraternity, the Salt Company, and Cornerstone Church. Amanda Ritlin. Amanda's future plans are to work in a research group as a laboratory technician, where she will help study prominent ailments in dairy cattle. Emma Lemke. Emma's future plans are to focus on livestock systems management outreach, helping producers improve sustainability and livestock welfare through education and support. Abigail Hibma. Abigail's future plans are to pursue a full-time job in formulation and pursue her master's degree in cattle nutrition. Lila Ruse. Lila's future plans include attending physical therapy school to become an animal rehabilitation therapist. Isabella Hartshorn. While at ISU, Isabella was involved with the ACE projects, one of the best experiences helping and watching shelter dogs get adopted. Alexandra Williams. Alexandra's future plans are to work towards achieving her master's degree at UNL. Clarissa Sheely. While at ISU, Clarissa was involved with the ACE project, working with Dr. Cheryl Morris. Taylor Yorty. Taylor's future plans are to attend VECTET school. Allison Abbas. While at ISU, Allison was involved with the Iowa State Rodeo team, the Iowa State Rodeo Club, serving as historian and recruitment and public relations chair, and served as an animal science transfer peer mentor. Briella Madden. Briella's future plans are to attend vet school at Iowa State, studying mixed animal practice. Kinsey Fox. Kinsey's future plans are to return home to Southern Illinois to work as a Farm Bureau manager while continuing to be involved in various community activities such as FFA and serving as county fair superintendent. Cole Warner. Cole's future plans are to return back to his family's farming operation to farm alongside his dad. Brock Thompson. While at ISU, Brock was involved with the Collegiate Cattlemen in the Iowa Corn Growers Collegiate Club. Maxwell McClure. Maxwell's future plans include applying to veterinary school with plans to focus on large animal medicine. Ellie Anderson. Allie's future plans are to be a production assistant at Brenneman Pork in Kelowna, Iowa. Our next department is the Interdepartmental Biology Program, offering a major in biology. Presenting the graduates is Dr. Wenhan Huang, and offering congratulations is Dr. Donald Sakaguchi. Jade Seeger. Jade's future plans are to attend medical school in the near future with interest in pediatric oncology or neonatal care. Drake Oswald. While at ISU, Drake was involved as an undergraduate research assistant in the Leandro lab, helping with fungal soybean disease research. Our next major is the Interdepartmental Major of Genetics, offering a major in genetics, and presenting the graduates is Dr. Hala Bastaros, and offering congratulations is Dr. Donald Sakaguchi. Ella Townsend. Ella's future plans are to pursue a PhD in plant breeding. Our next department is the Department of Economics, offering a major in agricultural business. Presenting the graduates is Dr. Mayung Oh, and offering congratulations is Dr. Yulia Bolotava. Shane Neighbor. Shane's future plans are to work as an insurance agent at Neighbor Insurance Services and get married in February. Faith Keel. Faith's future plans are to work as an accounting specialist for Landis Cooperative in Des Moines, Iowa. Natalie Ott. Natalie's future plans are to begin as an associate territory manager with Corteva Agriscience starting in January. Nicholas Pratt. While at ISU, Nicholas was a brother of the Sigma Chi Omicron Associate Chapter and was involved with the French and line dancing club. Connor McCoy. While at ISU, Connor was involved with the Student Alumni Leadership Council in the ISU 4U Foundation. Chase Sandholm. Chase's future plans are to return home to the family farm. Emma Aronson. While at ISU, Emma was involved with the Block and Bridle Club, serving as a treasurer. Her favorite event was the Classic Cattle Show. Emma Kilsmeyer. Emma's future plans are to work for Viterra as a grain merchandiser in Kimball, South Dakota. Alexis Muller. Alexis' future plans are to start her career with Agriland FS in Winterset, Iowa as an agronomy procurement specialist. Our next department is the Interdepartmental Environmental Science Program, offering a major in environmental science. Presenting the graduates, Richard Williams, and offering congratulations, Dr. William Crumpton. Karen Horning. Karen's future plans are to pursue a career in conservation, looking to make the world a more beautiful place for future generations. Amelia Trena. Amelia's future plans are to get a job as an environmental scientist and continue working in plant research. Brittany Funk. Brittany's future plans are to work toward restoring tallgrass prairie in its native areas and traveling with her partner. Thank you for your support. I love you so much, Eli. The next department is the Department of Food Science and Human Nutrition, offering majors in culinary food science, dietetics, diet and exercise, food science, nursing, and nutritional science. Presenting the graduates in food science is Dr. Kevin Shalinsky, and offering congratulations is Dr. Lorraine Lanningham Foster. Waija Pang. While at ISU, Waija was involved as an engineering assistant at the Center for Crops Utilization Research and worked on projects related to industrial fermentation and food processing. Our next department is the Department of Horticulture, offering a major in horticulture. Presenting the graduates is Barb Clausen, and offering congratulations, Dr. Ajay Nair. Caleb Spry. Caleb's future plans are to attend the University of Arkansas and pursue a master's in public horticulture. Kate Suter. While at ISU, Kate was involved with the ISU Horticulture Research Station, working there for 3 years and focusing mainly on vegetable production. Grant Becker. Grant will work in Ames at the Ames Golf and Country Club, and then after a year, move out to the state for another golf course. Lane Carpenter. Lane would like to thank his Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for guiding him. He'd like to thank his family for their love and support, and to his friends for always being there. Our next department is the Interdepartmental Microbiology Program, offering a major in microbiology. Presenting the graduates is Brianni Atkinson, and offering congratulations is Dr. Steve Harris. Thomas Siemens. Thomas would like to thank his family for all the love and support they have given him. The next department is the Department of Natural Resource, Ecology, and Management, offering majors in animal ecology and forestry. Presenting the graduates in animal ecology is Dr. Timothy Stewart, and offering congratulations, Dr. Stephen Dinsmore. Joshua Woolfolk. Joshua's future plans are to get lost in a forest. Michael Musel. Michael would like to thank his family, friends, and professors for helping him over the last 3.5 years. Vanessa Breedlove. Vanessa's future plans are to work with the Carroll County Conservation as a naturalist. Isabella Myworm. Isabella's future plans are to pursue a master's degree and work in wildlife conservation. Anna Reindl. Anna's future plans are to work for a few years and hopefully start applying for graduate school. Olivia Smika. While at ISU, Olivia was involved with Iowa Bird Rehabilitation, which allowed her to see what a day in the life of a wildlife rehabilitator was really like. Avery Keenan. While at ISU, Avery was involved in the Environmental Education Club, Birding Club, Department of Entomology, and the Iowa State Forest Nursery. Mackenzie Fisher. While at ISU, Mackenzie was involved with the Cyclone Marching Band Color Guard and enjoyed traveling and performing at the Liberty Bowl game in 2023. Sin Su. Sin's future plans are to pursue her passion for veterinary medicine and make a positive impact in the life of animals and their owners. Mariah Moeller-Levick. Mariah would like to thank her family and friends and the professors who believed in her at Iowa State through 4 schools, 5 majors, and 8.5 years to find her place in the world. Vanis Chong. Vanis' future plans are to move to LA for a position as a consulting forester at Eocene Environmental. Haley Seafrig. Haley's future plans are to obtain a master's in marine biology from James Cook University in Australia with a career goal in aquatic animal care and conservation. Lauren Schaefer. Lauren's future plans are to pursue a career in wildlife conservation or research. Liani Maldonado. Liani's future plans are to become a naturalist or an environmentalist. Presenting the graduates in forestry is Dr. Doug Stokey, and offering congratulations, Dr. Stephen Dinsmore. Leah Skippers. Leah's future plans are to make a big impact in the conservation world. Nicholas Luke. Nicholas' future plans are to continue working in the outdoor recreation industry. Our last department is the Department of Sociology, offering a major in agricultural and rural policy studies. Presenting the graduates is Mr. Nathan Dobbles, and offering congratulations is Dr. David Peters. Jillian Anderson. Jillian's future plans are to work in the international development field, focusing on issues that impact rural people worldwide. Dean Robeson, it is my honor and pleasure to present to you the graduating class, Fall 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Mike Gall, for the presentation of the names. Congratulations to everybody. Thank you all, students, family, friends, friends of friends, who have joined us today. This concludes our ceremony. I invite you now to come down to the floor of Hilton Coliseum to meet your graduate and to enjoy some camaraderie. Congratulations, graduates.